Hi, good morning. I'm Key Browning. I'm a mind, body, spirit life coach and the author of Synergy. And I'm a registered yoga teacher, a certified strength trainer, and a fitness over 50 specialist. So today we're going to be doing chair yoga. And I'd like to just go ahead and start with standing. So if you could stand, with your hands near your computer monitor and your chair behind you, that would be safe. And then I just wanted to kind of sway back and forth here. We were just talking a little bit about sciatica ache and just that tension in the low back that can then have that electric shooting going down the legs, one or both legs. Hopefully it's only one because it can be debilitating. So sometimes just a simple sway like this is really nice. First thing in the morning, you want to wake up and take a hot shower and then finish with cool water so that you close out the pores. That can be really invigorating in the morning, but just to get that hot water on the back can be really useful. And then let's do a few trunk rotations. So let's place the hands on the shoulders and just to get started. So we're not moving the hips, we're just moving the trunk. Okay, so no hips. So I'm just putting my hands here so that you know that you're moving your shoulders and then you don't have to have them there. You can just place them here on your hips. So just go ahead and circle the trunk around and try to get that full rotation there, circling behind and forward. It's circling around. Yeah, let's go back in the other direction too. So just check in and make sure that you're going slow. This is a slow and just a methodical circle. Whatever you can do, you'll be able to do more later, but just, a nice way to open up the back here. And then while we're standing, we'll do a standing cat and cow. So hands on the thighs, not the knees, hands on the thighs and even facing inward, you could do that. And then we'll do cat and cow. I'll show you from the side here. So we really want to move that low back and then tuck and arch and tuck. So you're really moving that part of the back, tucking and rounding. Good. And then hands just at the knees. So you could do this the standing cat and cow. And of course you can add the neck, rounding and arching. But I really want you to focus on that lumbar. Okay, and then come back to standing. And now we're going to do the hula hoop. So we can place the hands on the hips and do the hula hoop here. So we did the upper torso, and now we'll do the lower torso. So just coming around, doing the hula hoop here. Just picking one direction, circling around, bend one knee and then the other. Bend one knee and then the other. Circling around. And now go back in the other direction. One way will be really odd. One way will be a little more natural. I think both of these are odd, but one will be a little easier than the other. Okay, so just circling around. So I'm not moving my shoulders, right? I'm just moving the hips, circling around. And then we'll go back to a sway, back and forth. So these simple moves really help a lot to keep that low back open and keep that connective tissue, the fluids circulating through that connective tissue. And now let's just do a gentle sway. With a sigh. Deep breath. Feels so good. Just a gentle sway here. And then we'll take the arms up, so elbows bent, and just notice how that twist is a little more in the upper torso, more in the thoracic there. Arms out wide. Be careful that you don't hit anything. And then you should feel a little more in that thoracic here, and then coming out of it, bending the elbows, so a little less, and then hands down, just feeling how that changes the movement through the spine. Okay, good. And now we'll do our shoulders up and down. Good, moving the shoulders up and down. Good, and now the hips up and down. We'll just wiggle all over, wiggle. Wiggle worm, do the wiggle worm. Okay, good. Yeah, nice little movements there. And then that nice little wiggle. So see if you can wiggle here. So a little like washing machine. This is a aqua aerobics move, washing machine. So this also can help to open up that low back. But again, if you're, really, tight, then you want to just start off slow and you're moving slow. So I'd like to, let's roll the shoulders back while we're still standing. So one of the things also that is, that causes lumbar discomfort, low back aches, or sciatica issue. Let's go in the other direction too. Partly what's causing that is too much sitting. So try not to sit as much, pick something that can help. The other thing too is if you cook a lot, let's go back in the other direction, and you have tile in the kitchen, which of course everyone pretty much does. You might have like an extra cushion where you're standing in the kitchen, like they do in the commercial kitchens, and just to ease up from that tile. So it's a really thick cushion, and they have those in the kitchens, and you want that if you stand and cook a lot. I know we're moving into the holidays, so you might think about getting something like that to ease up the stance. So you're not standing on that hard tile for hours and hours, standing on hard wood or standing on the carpet or something like that is going to be a lot easier for you. So let's go ahead and do our rock and roll while we're standing. And if you have your table right here, that's fine. Or you could stand near the chair so that you're rolling back and forth, making sure that you're safe and stable. So rolling over those toes. Good. So that we have 40 bones, 40 metatarsals in each foot. So we really want to expand out through the toes. And so, the pressure, if the toes are really tight and the feet are tight, it can also send radiating pain or just discomfort upward. And then the sciatic is going down. So it can really, be very uncomfortable. So it is something simple, and you could do it, 3 or 4 of those, it's easy to kind of throw that one in. Let's do a standing forward fold. Now, if your low back is really bothering you, you want to bend the knees first and then see if you can lean forward. But sometimes if the sciatic is really bad, you wouldn't even be able to lean forward. If you can, we want to go ahead and stretch that hamstring, because all of that connective tissue in the low back and down the legs, where that pain is radiating, that tissue in there needs to be massaged. It needs more circulation in there. So of course, a massage would also be a good thing to have today, if you can. And then let's do a cat and cow from here. So round and really round that low back, and then the opposite arch, lift the tailbone and bend your knees a little bit. You can see what I'm doing here, and arch, and really just go slow and feel your back. Arch, look up, exhale, round, look down, and arch, look up, and round, look down, and then chin to chest, go ahead and roll and come back up to standing, and let's march in place. So level 1 is just taking the foot off the floor, and if you need to hang on to a chair, go ahead and do that. So, or you could be a little more exuberant about it and really lift that knee high. Okay, so then just notice if your leg is kind of coming off to the side, how are you doing that? Try to get the knee to go forward. So you're going straight forward with the knee as you're lifting up. Even if you're down low, that's fine. Take your foot completely up off the floor. So just a simple march like this is going to shift that low back. So, sometimes if we're just walking, we do little steps, but you might, like if you're walking to the bathroom, go ahead and, march it out. I know that's funny, but it will help your low back. If you're watching a movie or something like that, and then you get up and you wiggle a little bit and then march to the bathroom, that's the furthest bathroom away. And then that really will make a big difference as well. Okay, so let's just stand. We're going to stand over the chair. We're going to do our squats here, up and down. We're not going to sit down, so you can place your hands on your thighs, but we're just going to squat and stand. Okay, and I'll show you from the side as if I was going to sit down on the chair. It's just a little squat and stand. Okay, and if you don't need your hands on your thighs, don't put them on your knees for sure. But you could keep putting your hands on your hips or on your thighs. And we're just coming down and up. Notice that my knees are not way in front of my toes. I'm coming down, sticking my butt back. So the butt goes back and the knees are just still just right over the toes, over the, not in front of. So down and up. Yeah, see, this is good. This is another thing. We're going to want to strengthen the legs and the low back. And this posture really helps with that. And so, of course, the lower you go down, the slower you go, the harder it is. When are the seated postures? Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, those will come up soon. Okay, here we go. Excellent. Now, let's stand to the side of the chair. I'm going to move this so we have a little more space here. And let's do our lunges. Let's do right foot lunging and left foot flat back there. You want to really press down through the back heel and then lunge forward. So if you have tight feet, a lot of times the tension in the foot will originate in the calf. And so we just want to be mindful of that. And then again, what I was saying earlier, that the tension in the foot then can radiate, that you don't have kind of a movement in the foot, so that if it's real stuck, then that energy goes back up into the knee and the hip and the low back. Okay, so we'll walk toward the chair and change legs and take your foot way back. Take it as far as you can back and then push down on the heel. So if you're back too far and you're just on your toe, then just come in so you're a little more, so that you're on the heel and lunging forward. So hips are aimed toward the chair and then lunging here. So you can have your hand on the chair if you need that. So this, just these lunges here, this is a strength training position. The longer we hold it, the more you'll feel the heat in that front leg and in the back calf. So if you're not feeling it in the back calf, you want to lunge a little deeper, take the foot further back. And now let's walk toward the chair. Just stand for a moment in mountain pose. Okay, good. And now let's take that right leg forward. This time the leg will go back, your left leg back, but knees are straight. We're going to do a pyramid pose. The hips are square. So see if you can bring that back hip or the left hip forward, and then we'll begin to lean forward. You want to feel this in the hamstring. So again, this is another great thing to help that sciatica. And now while you're here, see if you can just kind of swing back and forth. I'm going to move this so you can see what I'm doing here. So then I'm taking my hips back and forth. You see that? So I have straight knees and I'm going back and forth with the hips. So this is another way. Okay, and here, now just hold the position, pyramid pose, one leg forward. And now from here with the knee straight, see if you can do that cat and cow. So arch and tuck, and arch and tuck. So just see if you can do a little more of a movement here with straight knees. Okay, and notice which leg's forward, and then we'll change. So let's stand and pause in between. Let the body restore or return to homeostasis. Feel things are changing in there. We'll go to the other side. So the other leg way back. For me, it'd be the right leg way back. So we're going forward in this pyramid pose. So you might be just in a wide stance. So at level 1, you're just up touching the chair at the top, and then level 2 coming down lower. Okay, so you really want to feel that hamstring stretch here. And now we'll go back and forth. Okay, so I'll show you again, aimed toward the camera here. So left leg forward, and I'm going back and forth. And I just heard my femur move in the hip socket. So that'll happen. You'll hear, a little clicking. So that's always good. So back and forth there. Okay, and that same leg's forward. And now we'll do the cat and cow here. So arch and round, knees are straight. Arch and round. Just take your time, feel that low back. So a lot of you, there's almost no movement in that low back. So just try, tuck that tailbone and then lift. Okay, and then walk toward the chair and let's stand in mountain pose. Good, so just feel that shift in your body. Returning to homeostasis there. So we really want the circulation moving down into the lower extremities. The more that you can do that, it'll be really helpful long term. Let's do our warrior postures while we're still standing. Okay, so warrior two, we'll do the right knee bent and left leg straight. And as you're coming down, okay, so I'm going to move the chair so that you can see me a little better here. Okay, so right knee bent, left leg straight. And now here, so I'm going to touch my hips so you can see them. I'm going to go back and forth with the hips. So we're in the lunge, and now we're going back and forth with the hips. Good, and now forward and back, so the cat-cow, so arch and tuck. Think about your pelvis kind of like a basket, tucking. So when you arch, it's as if the water in the basket could flow out. And then when you're tucking, you're bringing that energy back in, tucking and arching. And then again, we'll go back, do the hip swing back and forth. Okay, now let's bring that right foot in. We're going to change legs. So again, if you could be behind your chair or between your chair and your computer monitor table, that would be good. So we'll start with that bent knee. And when you're in this warrior or this lunging stance, you should be able to wiggle your left toes. If you're way forward, if you're not in the right position, you'll have too much weight in those toes. So then you just come back. Torso is centered, shoulders over the hips, hips between the knees. So you're centered. And now we'll do that wiggle with the hips. So lunging and a little wiggle with the hips. Good, just back and forth, good. And now the tuck and arch, tuck and arch. I know you can't move very much when you're in this lunge, but that's okay. That's what we're looking for, a tuck and an arch, tuck. Okay, good. And then lifting up, pivot forwards, knee and ankle safety first, and then coming back to standing mountain. Good, so you should feel a lot more action, a lot more energy in that area of the body. Let's go ahead and move it now. I always found that side angle lunge unlocked my low back. So again, I'll just leave that there. Let's go into warrior two. So when I had a consistent low back pain, this was my physical therapy posture. So side angle lunge, so you get that nice length. You feel that opening on the kidney band of the left side here, or the top side. And then try to take your arm up and over and find a little more space. See if you can find some space in the left side of the body. Extending the left hand away from the left heel. And then right hand to the thigh, not to the knee. Or, because when we're injured or we're not feeling very good, you want to be in level one. You don't want to be down here in level 3. Okay, so this isn't as like, on a day when you're tender, that you're doing the postures, but you do them in level 1, feet forward, and then methodically aim your feet the other way. Warrior 2, left knee bent, and then we're going off to the other side. So coming down, elbow to thigh, and just feel that back opening on that diagonal. You feel the opening through that right kidney band, push the right heel down and elongate through the right side. And then for me, this was always just an unlocking, I could just unlock that low back by doing this. So it really made a big difference in doing the warrior postures every day. So that's what helped me to eliminate that low back pain. And then again, when you're, feet forward, we're going forward and then come out of that. So on strong days, you do level 2 or 3, and on weaker days, you do level 1 or 2. So you're still working out. You're just working out, gently. You're working out, nourishing your body on those days when you feel a little weaker. Okay, rock and roll here, rolling over the toes, fan out your toes. Yeah, Feels so good. Okay, excellent. Let's do that side angle lunge one more time. Okay, so wide stance with those legs, right knee bent, left leg straight, and then take a deep breath and exhale, and we'll move into side angle lunge and extend through the left side. Coming down, leaning on that leg, push on the back heel. Another deep breath, look up. And then gently lift up and methodically pivot the feet forward and off in the other direction. And lunge. Deep breath, and on the exhale, lean, side angle lunge. And extend and really find a little more space in that low back here. Right hand reaching away from the right heel. Right heel is the furthest point out in the position. So your toes aren't pointing out that way. The heel is the furthest point out. That's like a stopper, like a book stop. It's going to help you maintain the position. And again, you should be able to wiggle your left toes a little bit. You're using them, but you can wiggle them. Okay, so let's lift up and pivot forward first, and then back to center. And then let's do the wiggle worm. Do the wiggle worm. Wiggle everything. Yeah. Okay, good. And then let's do our sway. Feels so good. So make sure you're not gonna bang your hand into your chair or anything. Yeah, isn't that nice? And then again, just feel it. So now you should feel this more in the low back, and the elbows up, elbows bent, elbows at shoulder height. Should feel it up a little bit more mid back. Going into the thoracic, and arms out wide. You should really feel that in the thoracic even more. Going back and forth. Just feeling how you're changing the stretch in the spine by changing where your arms are. Elbows bent, coming back. And down. Take your time, go at your own pace. And then have a big sigh. Oh, feels so good. Okay, excellent. Okay, well here, now we'll move into some seated postures. I'm sure you're happy to hear that. Okay. That's nice. So when you sit down, just notice whatever you do, like you just sit down and kind of flop, be mindful of that. When you go into your recliner, do you just kind of throw your body in the chair? Sit down, have more awareness how you're moving the body in and out of your car, in and out of the recliner, those kind of things. When you're in the kitchen, how are you moving? That kind of thing. Let's take the right hand up and over. Now, these side bends, typically we think of them, because you feel them in the armpit and feel them in the shoulder, of course. But we're stretching through the side body, and you want to bring that awareness into the spine. See if you can stretch your spine and bring that left shoulder down. So stretching the spine, and then off in the other direction too. Inhaling, exhale, tilt. And just feel the movement. See if you can move out of the shoulder, or whatever you might need to do to move the tension out of the shoulder. Try to have the focus be more that side body. Okay, and again, so this time as we're tilting, so inhaling up and tilt over. This time reach forward a little bit. So we're still on the angle, we're tilting, and the neck is long, we're on that diagonal, but we're leaning forward, reaching forward, but tilting. And now center, and then just straight off to the side. Bend your left elbow. Okay, so that changes that up in the spine a little bit more here. Good, inhaling up, exhale, tilt. Reach forward just slightly. We're going forward with that tilt. Still on the ankle. The neck is long. And then back to center, and now directly off to the side. Bend the right elbow. Okay, good. And then back to center. Good. So just a little wiggle here. Good, and forward and backward with those shoulders. And then jazz shoulders up and down. And then forward. and then up and down. Yeah. Good. So now let's take the legs forward. Let me scoot the chair back a little bit. So we'll take the legs forward and toes down. Knees are bent for level 1 or knees straight for level 2. We'll just slide down and reach for your shins or your ankles. Relax your neck and lengthen the neck. As you're hinging forward, you want to feel this in the back of the legs. And now look at the right shoulder. And then look at the left shoulder. Good deep breath, looking at the right shoulder and the left shoulder. Good forward fold right to the middle. And then roll up, come back up. Okay, good. So just sitting here for a moment, feel what's happening to the body, feel it changing. And let's work on the shoulders a little bit now. So let's do eagle. So we'll bring the right arm under the left arm. So right arm under, I'll get a little closer, and then we're going to bend. So we'll try to bend the arm if you can. Many of you might be able to just intertwine your arms like that. But if you can't, you could just hold your shoulders. And then the elbows go out and then up. You want to feel this in the shoulder blade or the thoracic area. And then those of you who can do eagle, that's great. So we'll cross and you're just sitting down in your chair, that's fine. Sitting down here. But again, you want the elbows out and then up. So coming up, and you will feel that in the thoracic spine. So just notice which elbow or which arm is on bottom. And then we're going to change the arms. So just relaxing the arms down here for a moment. You can continue to sit, that's fine. I know sometimes this one's kind of hard to see. So again, we're intertwining the arms, and then see if you can come around. The elbows go out and then up. And this is for that thoracic spine. You'll feel that in the mid back, in the shoulder blade region. And if you can't find, you could just hold here. This is fine. This is a good one. Or even holding those shoulders. But if you hold the shoulders, don't lower the elbows. Keep the elbows up, out and then up. So you feel, so we're stretching through the rhomboids. We're stretching through the muscles there in the mid back, upper back area. Okay, good. And then relax. Good. We'll do our jazz shoulders up and down. Come back. Jazz shoulders. Feels good. Nice. And then let's do our windshield wipers. We'll just go across, back and forth, very biomechanically here, back and forth. And then up. So windshield wipers here going up. Okay, excellent. And then forward, right in the middle. And down. Yeah, good. And again, right in the middle. And then relax. Yeah, good. Just a little wiggle there with those shoulders. Let's go ahead and do a little twisting here. Be mindful that you don't bump into your chair. And then twisting. Look in the direction that you're twisting if you can. But if that's too much, if that makes you dizzy, just look forward at me and then twist the body. So you don't have to add the neck there. Moving back and forth. So you will feel this in the mid back. That's good. Okay, so let's do a circle rotation here with the shoulders. Good, and off in the other direction too. So if you hear a lot of clicking in the shoulders, you want to bend the elbows just a little bit more and bring the arms in a little bit more, but still have a full rotation there so that you're still circling the humor at the shoulder socket without the clicking. So, but otherwise, arms are long, extend out through the fingers, stretch in both directions, and then rest. So you should feel that heat. That's what we're looking for. We want to do the posture long enough to really feel that heat, and that's what's building. That's going to build that deltoid a little bit there. That's great. Okay, so this time, let's go back down to the legs. We're gonna cross right ankle over the left. You can even have the right heel to the left toes. I'll show you from the side. That might be a little easier. So you can cross ankle to ankle or heel to toe. And then we're going to lift up from the spine and then hinge forward, reaching down for your shin or maybe your ankle or toes. Notice if that low back is rounded here and how it's changing your breath. So again, sternum up, hinging forward. Try to keep that full lung capacity. We want to keep the throat open and make sure that you're breathing deeply for the class. Okay, so notice which leg's on top and we go to the other side. So again, ankle to ankle or heel to toe. And then lifting up and leaning forward. So you get just a little more of a stretch there on that upper leg. Another deep breath. Point your nose toward your knees. Okay, excellent. And then come out of that. That's good. Good, deep breath. So if you can, we're gonna do this one where we're exaggerating the movements, right arm, right leg off to the side. But if you're in pain today, then you probably skip this one. And you could do what we just did again. You could do the heel to toe and stretch the back of the leg. Otherwise, here we're taking the right foot and the right hand off to the side, exaggerated movement, lift the leg up and take it way over there. We'll call that one number 7. I have no idea what number that is. There's 8. And here's 9. There we go. And 10. Okay, excellent. Good. And off to the other side. So left arm and leg off to the left. 2. Reaching way over there. 4. Doing good. Keep moving. 5. 6. 7. 8. There we go. 9. And one more. And 10. So as simple as these are, this is moving the ligaments, the tendons, the muscles, but also the way the femur is at the pelvic socket, moving that leg out to the side. So that does help with that sciatica. So now we're going to enhance it again. If you can't do this one, then just do either side again. So we'll do 1. So this one you'll feel also that we're working our core muscles a little bit more. This one's the strength training. So if you're achy, don't do this one today. But if you're not, let's do this one and really work those muscles so that you're less achy tomorrow or the next day. Yeah, good. What was that number? Okay, someone, okay, we'll call this one 7 and 8, 9 and 10. That was really 11, but anyway. Okay, so let's just sit for a moment. Return to homeostasis, feel the body going back down. Just noticing all of those fluctuations, that's good. Okay, and then of course pigeon is ideal for opening that low back, so right ankle to left thigh. And if it's too much, then you're sitting ankle to ankle and sitting up straight, and you're trying to open that leg off to the side as much as you can. But if you can, move to ankle to thigh, and the foot that's on the floor is not on the ankle and it's not under the chair, it's directly under the knee. And then lifting up and leaning forward to intensify that stretch for the right hip and hand. Good. And then my hands are on my thigh, but are on my calf, but I'm not pushing, even if I'm resting my hand on the knee, I'm not pushing the knee down. You could open the femur more closer to the hip socket if you wanted to get a little more action there, but it's not really necessary. Leaning forward really does that. Okay, now sitting up straight, legs exactly where they are. let's go ahead and turn and look to the right. So inhale, lift up, exhale, turn. Bring your left hand to the outside of the right knee. Now see if you can get just a little more space in that right shoulder and lung and that right side of the body. So left hand to the outside of the right knee, and then look up as if you could even puff up that right chest or right lung a little bit more. And inhale and looking up to the right. Another deep breath. Okay, good. And then back to center, and let's change sides. The other thing I'd like to bring up is, like, on my chair, this is just a wooden chair, but you would always want a cushion. See, I'm only on this chair for 1 hour a week. But you want to make sure that you have a nice, comfortable chair to sit in. You would not want a wood chair for your regular emails, please. You probably don't have that, but just to be safe, good. Sternum up and leaning forward to intensify that hip opening here, the left hip and hamstring. Again, just resting the hands on the calf, that's fine, not pushing the knee down. Yeah, that feels good. Okay, good. And then lifting up, we're going to turn and look to the side, right wrist to the outside of the left knee, and then begin to twist. So you're leaning forward just slightly and looking up to the left. You can hold the back of the chair. See if you can get a little more space on that twist. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist, look up to the left. Okay, excellent. And then back to center and come on down. Good, let's rock and roll. Heel and toe raises. And just check in with those knees, make sure that you're okay, that kind of movement and the twisting and all that. And if that's not working for you, don't do it. We're going to do it again, but don't do it again. So you could go back to the heel to toe or full extension through the legs. So ankle to thigh. If this is like, if your knee is up, then you should be leaning back slightly, and that will give you a little more slack. And just doing it level 2 is great. But if you can, the knee will come down and we'll lean forward slightly. Let's circle the right ankle a few times in each direction. Good. Yeah, it feels good. Nice stretch there in the hip and the ankle. Good. Sitting up straight. Let's turn off to the side. So left wrist to the outside of the right knee. Now, some of you could come down lower. This is more intense. So elbow to thigh and then twisting. So this is a little more. Let me see if I show you here on the side. So elbow to thigh and then twisting. So there's a subtle lean forward, then twisting, looking off to the side. But this is pretty intense for most people. So that's why I'm saying wrist. So you just have your wrist there and hold the back of the chair. And obviously I've been doing this for 20 years, so I have a little more flexibility. Okay, so let's come out of that gently, always being gentle as you're coming in and out of these postures, and off to the other side. Good. And let's circle the left ankle a few times in each direction. And can you lift that sternum up? Feel the broadening through the collarbones as you lean forward slightly. Good. And then back to center. We're going to turn and look to the side. So level 1, the wrist, right wrist to the outside of the left knee. And we'll twist and look off to the left. And then more advanced. And you might be able to do it on one side and not the other. And that's okay because it is more advanced. So elbow to thigh. And then twisting off to the side. So hands at the heart. Looking off to the side. If you get there, it's like, oh, that's too much. No big deal. Just come back. Hold the back of the chair. And then slowly come out of that. Yeah. Good. And then a little wiggle. Let's do jazz shoulders up and down. Nice wiggle here. And then back and forth. And then as I was talking about the cushion on the chair, same with the cushion in your car. It might be that you need a big old pillow to sit on and maybe a lumbar roll, which you could do with a towel. But it might be, just that regular seat in your car isn't enough, it doesn't have enough cushion. So be thoughtful about that as well. Okay, very good. Well, let's do another posture here. We'll come back to standing. I want to do this one here. Now, with the chair, you can't get as much as you can if you were doing this at your kitchen sink. So the kitchen sink, this is a great one for the kitchen sink. But for this, demonstration, I'm just going to be here. So I'm resting my hands. So I'm not like hyperextending the wrists and the elbows, everything's straight. And just extending the arms over the back of the chair, and the legs are straight, spine is straight. So just hold here. And then back and forth, wag your tail. So just swaying back and forth. And then a wiggle. So really wiggle your tail. Wag more, bark less. Okay, good. And then that standing cat and cow, tuck and arch, tuck and arch. Okay, and then walk toward the chair, just come up to standing. So what I was saying is if you would do this at the kitchen sink, so it's about the right size, the kitchen, the sink where you're grabbing it would be good for the fingers and the muscles in the hands. And then also as you're pulling back, and then that opens the latissimus dorsi right in here, these lats in the back. And then you can really wiggle and just that, because you're making your body long and you don't have gravity like we do when we're standing upright. And sometimes you can get a little adjustment from doing this at the kitchen sink. So let's do it one more time. Of course, we can't pull really on the chair, it'll just lift up. So we're just resting the hands over the chair. The arms and torso are straight and the legs are straight. Good, another deep breath here. And now sway, just moving the hips back and forth, transferring the weight to each foot. And then a wiggle, do your little wiggle there, a little wag. And then the cat and cow, so tucking, so just with the low back, arch and tuck. Good, another deep breath right in the middle. And then come up to stand, mountain pose. Good, and sometimes, of course, after we're doing that, you can have a little bit of a head rush. So you're always, when you're using a chair, you just walk toward it. And if you don't need it, you don't need it. But if you do, you're glad that you're standing right next to it. So that's always really useful. Okay, good. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're gonna close the class with seated sun salutations. I don't know why I feel like I have to make an announcement like that. But here we go. Inhale, raise your hands up. Exhale, fold forward. And right knee to chest, lifting up. Pull the leg in or just guide it with your fingertips for level 2. And then hands to the floor, come on down. Hands to your knees, modified push-up. So this is like we're gonna pretend to do a push-up here. Hands to thighs, leaning forward, shoulders back. Chaturanga. And then cobra, straighten your arms, arch, look up. And exhale, fold, look down. Go into the other side for equestrian, left knee up. Level 1 foot down, level 2 foot high. Shoulders are down and back. Excellent. Hands to the floor, come all the way down. And hands to the sky. Inhale, reach up, look up. And hands to the heart. That's 1. Let's do it again. We'll start with the left leg this time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Good. Left knee to chest, equestrian, foot high for level 2. Guiding your leg with your fingertips for level 2. Or maybe we'll call that one level 3. And then hands down, hands to the floor, fold forward, relax your neck all the way down. And then chaturanga, moving to that modified push-up, hands to thighs. And now straighten your elbows, cobra, look up. And hands to the earth, fold forward. Off to the other side, knee to chest for equestrian, lifting up. And coming all the way down. And raise your hands out and up, reach up, look up, see your hands touch. And hands to the heart. Isn't that nice? So even those sun salutations, the seated sun salutations can also be really good for opening up the whole spine. Now, of course, if you're doing the regular sun salutation on your mat where you're moving up and down off of the floor, of course, that's more advanced than for this class, but that opens every joint, every muscle, every ligament, every tendon is invigorated by the standing sun salutation. So it's always nice to know that one as well. But the seated one can be very good too. So let's go ahead and move into meditation now. And so, let's come to a comfortable place. If you can, lie down, or maybe, get to a more comfortable chair. That's fine if you can do that. And we'll have a little sip of water here. Okay. Okay, that was great. Yeah. And let's spend a little bit of time here to let that teaching move in. Like we were talking a lot and doing a lot today to learn more about your back and low back pain and tension. And now just feel yourself relaxing in your chair. So you don't need to sit up straight, just let your back body melt into the chair, whatever's comfortable. And then feel the breath flowing in. And let's inhale it and retain the breath. And then exhale. Inhale, retain the breath, hold it. And then exhale completely. Inhale, retain the breath, hold. And then exhale and release. And now just breathe comfortably, breathe naturally. And just by doing a little modification with the breath like that, holding the breath in for 1 or 2 or 3 seconds, can shift the way you're thinking and feeling in the moment. So as you close your eyes, just feel yourself melting into the chair beneath you. And of course, when we're learning or we're talking, we're engaged, we're more forward. And so now feel yourself moving to the back body, becoming very receptive, just moving back into the body and letting go, not trying to understand or do anything right now. And as you inhale and feel the breath of life flowing in through the nostrils and down the spine to your low back, just imagine that low back glowing, a beautiful golden glow, just sending that life force, love and vitality to that low back. So we think of the low back as the first and second chakra, and this is our connection to the earth. So allow yourself to feel grounded and connected as you imagine that part of the back glowing. The second chakra is about creativity, creating something, maybe creating a new business or a work of art. So just imagine creating something The second center also is our sexuality, like creating a baby. So just thinking about balancing that part of your body and sending that energy in. So inhale that vitality through the nostrils and then feel it moving past the brain and the mind and down the spine. And now imagine the whole body beginning to glow more and more. Because remember, we're human. We're the hue first. We're the light. So just let your light get bigger and brighter. All you have to do is just relax. Just rest in your chair. Soften your face and jaw. And just a thought, all you have to do is imagine that you're in a sphere of light, that you're guided and guarded by God. Just imagine that you're safe and secure, you're protected. And this infinite creator that loves you completely is sending you compassion, guidance, wisdom. And feel the body relax a little bit more, that you can trust. You can trust yourself. You can trust this love and compassion that's inside you. Continue to relax down into the legs. Feel your legs getting a little heavier. Just resting in the chair, letting go. Not trying to analyze anything, just feel the breath flowing in. Just monitor the thoughts. Not trying to think anything right now. Just let that breath come in. And feel the glow, feel the light expanding all around you. You might see it or feel it, or just know that you're in a sphere of light. And imagine every cell in your body sparkling and glowing. See the cells shimmer and sparkle. So your whole body is becoming enlivened, enriched by the hue, by the light. Now feel the heart expanding. Feel the love in your heart getting bigger and brighter. Just by thinking about someone you love, your heart moves into coherence. And this starts to stabilize your entire molecular structure. Just thinking of someone or something you love, a favorite pet or hobby, or your favorite person. It's feel the love expanding, getting bigger, sparkling more. And soon we're going to come back. Be sure to bookmark this place of peace and wisdom that is inside you, and revisit frequently throughout the day just by becoming aware of your breath. So gently now, gently begin to come back, softly moving the body, moving your fingers and toes, coming back. We'll extend the arms up, nice stretch, reaching up. And then bring the hands back to the heart. Have a moment of gratitude for your divine body temple, your life, and your family. And as you continue your day, just radiate your love and joy to everyone. Namaste. Okay, namaste. So nice to train together today, and I hope you're feeling better after our session. And I'll look forward to hearing from you by email or phone. So be sure to reach out anytime. Take care. Namaste.